whether they watch them or not is another thing. I'm terrible at rewatching stuff, so hopefully they will though. So get the recording happening. Beautiful. All right, pretty sure that's going. Where's the recording button? Oh.
The little red light's flashing.
Good, excellent. Usually I know what I'm doing. All right, welcome everybody to today's session. It's all about whether you can be a virtual assistant, whether this is something that's for you or not. And as we were discussing before I pressed record, it is a very sort of hot topic at the moment because at the moment I think we've got, 90% of the room is from Melbourne, and we've turned into professional stay-at-home human beings. And so, you know, having an option there where you can actually create a bit of a living and not have that impact of having to go back to work. I know a lot of VAs, the worst thing they can imagine is having to go and get another job. So having that option to create something with the skills that you have is very, very exciting. So let's get started. Alrighty, here we go. So just to give you a little bit of an introduction, my name's Rosie Shiloh. I run an online network for virtual assistants in Australia, and I've been doing that for 16 years. I know I look like I'm 20, but I'm slightly older than that. And it's a hugely fun industry to be a part of. And what I do is I create an environment where people sort of have that reduced social isolation, but can also collaborate, access job leads, and continue their education, making sure that they keep on top of training. I've written three books, two about being a virtual assistant, so they're guides to setting up your virtual assistant business, and one is to educate business owners on how to outsource effectively, because the hardest part of being a virtual assistant sometimes is educating your clients on how to work well with you. So I created a book to help with that issue. So Virtually Yours, the reason why I do that, as I just touched on there, I'm very passionate about reducing social isolation and the impact of that being depression and just general unhealthiness when we're stuck alone and we can't connect with people, like-minded people. And this happens a lot, especially for women who have had kids, who are used to being in connection with a lot of other people, and are now constantly connected to other human beings, but not in that connection that they need. So it's really strange how you can be surrounded by children all day and feel completely isolated, yet that's how it happens. And so a lot of people do have that. They start up their virtual assistant business and they're still on their own unless they connect with other people. So that's how I created Virtually Yours. And I think that women who run their own businesses are amazing. And I think that women who run virtual assistant businesses, because they are a type of business that supports others, are particularly amazing. Okay, so what is a virtual assistant? The definition of a virtual assistant is that they are providing a service to businesses. So it's business to business, and this is hugely varied in terms of what you can offer, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. I've got my little chat over my box, so I can't see where I'm at. You are an independent contractor. So offshore VAs, a lot of the time, and you will hear a lot about offshore VAs who are very cheap, cost-effective solution for many people. I don't want you worrying about offshore. There's a market for onshore and offshore, very different. But offshore tends to be employees or employed by a larger organisation, whereas in Australia, the definition of virtual assistant is that you are an independent contractor. Yeah. And the structure of your business can be whatever you want it to be. You can be a sole trader, a company, trust, whatever, that doesn't make any difference. But you are running your own business and you're contracted to do work for other people. So you're not staff. You have to manage your own processes, your own super, your own taxes. But the buck stops with you. And of course, the third thing is that you're off-site. Now, if you're running your own business and you want to do some on-site work, that's your call because this is your business. One of the best things about it. But by definition, the work that you'll be providing is off-site. Okay, so that's where some services cannot be defined as virtual assistants because they can't be done off-site. other things that can be, and this has grown hugely in the last 2 decades, especially the last decade, the services that can be provided remotely, thanks to the growth of, you know, technology, software programs like this, where it's so easy to connect with other people. The number of things that we can now offer has just skyrocketed. Any questions? If you have any, you can ask at any point. Okay, so the main reason why people want to set up their virtual assistant business is for these 3 factors here: to have some freedom to make the choices that they want to make about when they work, who they work with, what kind of impact it has on their family, what sort of services they want to offer. One of the nicest things about working for yourself is, if you set your business up the right way, is that you can book in a hairdressing appointment whenever you like, and you don't have to, you know, call in sick or explain to anybody about where you are. It's just that you're booked out, right? It's one of those really nice things, and actually just gives you that really good feeling of freedom to make choices each day about how you're going to be spending your life. Now, this is important to remember as you develop your business, because it can be very, very easy for freedom to be the last thing that you're accomplishing when you're setting up your own business. If you don't do it right, you're going to be a slave to your business rather than having the freedom that you're looking for. The other thing is money. Obviously, we want to be making some money in our business and paying the bills. Everybody's got different levels of money goals for their business, and it's totally unique, and they're all fair. But again, you've got to be setting yourself up strategically, making sure that you're leveraging your time and your effort and your marketing to the right people with the right solution for money to become part of that solution for you. And of course, meaning. So wanting to do something that makes you feel accomplished, that allows you to have an impact, and, you know, just generally makes you feel good about getting up and doing what you want to do each and every day. Whereas a lot of us find that when we go into employment, that gets lost very, very quickly after that first interview or two, and then your orientation, and then. So the sweet spot, of course, is that we need to come up with a plan for our business that achieves all 3 of these, because if anything's missing, you'll find that there's a lack of balance. You can have money and freedom, but have no meaning, which means that you're going to be feeling no passion for what you do. Or you can have freedom and meaning, but no money, which is pretty much where most businesses end up. So doing what you want to do when you want to do it, but nobody actually wants to pay you to do it. So that's a really tough one to get stuck into. And likewise, you can be making money, doing something that you love, but becoming an absolute slave to your business. So always remembering as you move forward with this, if it becomes something that you want to do, to try and get this balance. This is the only area I think that you need to have a balance. Everything else, everyone has different levels of balance in terms of how much freedom you want to have, how much money you want to have, all those sort of things. But this needs to be equally important, those 3 areas, in terms of your attention. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Remember your why. A lot of people come to me and say, so I want to create my business so I can work from home around my kids, and I want to make enough money to pay the bills. And definitely I resonate with that. However, if you can have a think about a much bigger why, it's going to help you in your business journey. If you can think about even right, you know, as you start now, and this why can change and evolve as you go through your business. But if you can think of the biggest impact that you would want to achieve from your business, what could that be? So for example, for me, when I realized the big impact I wanted to have was on the industry itself, was around advocating for the industry and encouraging business owners in Australia to respect the skills and value of Australian virtual assistants, because especially when I started, we had a lot of issues with onshore versus offshore, and people, I felt like Australian VAs couldn't articulate why they were worth more, and without just saying, stay local and we have bigger bills to pay, therefore you should, you know, pay us this rate. Now, I started advocating for the industry and talking to VAs about how, one, we have to step up and be better than offshore if we want to get paid. It's the beauty of being in the virtual assistant industry is that it's a global industry. So your clients can be anywhere. but your clients' VAs can be anywhere. You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? So why would someone pay $50 an hour for you versus $5 an hour for a VA offshore? Well, I pay $50 more if you're a business owner who gets what it's like, gets the struggle that I have as a business owner, right? Who has set up their own business, who isn't sitting there waiting for the next job to be put in front of them, who's actively a business owner like I am. I will resonate more with that. I'll find value in that. I would also find value in the opportunities that you bring to the table, to the ways that you think of better ways to do things, streamlining systems, improving systems, connecting them with quality people that will help improve whatever it is their goals they're trying to achieve. Now, offshore, you pretty much are not going to get that, right? Those are those add-ons that we take for granted, that if we bring them to the table, then we are worth more, and our clients can't live without us, and they will pay $50 an hour for that. All of my team members are Australian VAs, and they are constantly providing me with ideas and solutions and links. Hey, Rosie, have you thought about doing this? Or, hey, Rosie, you should tell these people about your product. Or, oh, I've told this person about you. You should have them on your podcast. Or this person wants you on their podcast. Offshore's not going to do that. So you have value, but articulating that, it just wasn't happening. And remembering the value of that wasn't happening. So for me, my big why has always been about building that up and allowing people from both sides, as the client and the VA, to see and appreciate their own value, right? So think about what your business could be doing to, at the end of the day, if you close the doors down the track or you sell it, what would you like to say it achieved? Now, the reason why this is super helpful is because every time an opportunity comes my way, and I am a magpie, I love shiny things, right? I am like, oh, this is I'm heads down, bums up. Oh, look at that, right? That's me. So to have this big why means that I can go, hey, look at that. Does that align with my big why? Or is that going to distract me from my big why? And it's made decision-making much, much easier, and there's a lot less little segues happening, okay? And you'll need it on the days where everything sucks too. So just to go, all right, I just need to do that because this is my big goal and I'm going to do it, damn it, so keep that on track. The ingredients of a stellar VA. Yes.
Hi, it's Adele here. I just wanted to mention, I heard in the news recently that there's a move, and thinking about this onshore, offshore thing, about moving call centres back to Australia. So I was really interested to hear that. And I think that probably resonates with all of us around, wanting to know someone who kind of gets us, in terms of that culture dynamic. Yeah. So I think that could also sit within what you've just been talking about. Yeah.
There is so much value in it. I mean, if you think about the cost difference for those big businesses to go from offshore to Australian base, the cost would be massive, yeah? But the customer journey, the customer experience is worth it. If I feel like I'm being heard as a customer, then I'm going to be loyal and buy their products. If I'm fighting a cultural and language barrier on the phone, I'm going to be just wanting to get out of there. Yeah. So,
and if you can run a call center virtually, so I think that's been one of the biggest issues for running a call center in Australia is the cost of real estate, from a rental perspective. Yeah, if you're setting up people from home and everyone suddenly becomes a virtual member of that call center, it just instantly drops that cost and it becomes more viable.
Yeah, exactly. One of my dearest friends runs a reception company, and some of her team come into her office and the rest are all virtual, and it's amazing. And the technology is there for that. So yeah, to be able to tap into that. And as you said, there are so many bonuses to working our society working virtually in terms of the impact on the environment for travel, congestion, amount of time we can spend supporting ourselves outside of work because we're not doing this massive commute all the time. There's just so many benefits to it. So it's really lovely. Oh, hi, Alan. I just saw you pop up there. So, hi. I can only see so many images, so I've got to remember to scroll down every now and then. Alrighty. Okay. So, Ruth, the COVID helplines are all working from home. Yeah. Have a few friends who have been employed. Oh, that's awesome. And I've had a few medical appointments recently with specialists, and the receptionists are all been working from home. And they've been amazing and funny too, because they're now realizing how insane that is to work around their kids. And it's like everyone's got a sense of humor now, because if you don't, you will cry. but everyone's kind of a bit more chill when they're doing reception services from home. It's actually really nice. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits. So a stellar VA is what I call a VA who's rocking it. And I think that there are 6 key things that as you grow and as you build your VA business, you need to master, okay? So the first thing is communication. And I can see from this group, you guys are great with communication. You're obviously very comfortable with online tech. You got here quite easily. You're unmuting and muting, and you're communicating really well, so that's awesome. Communication can make or break your business when you're working virtually. So it's an area that you need to be really strong in. And in terms of your emails, so your written communication, you need to have great grammar, because, you know, you are competing with other people who are grammar nerds. And so sometimes when you're communicating with a potential client, it can be simple grammatical errors that lose that connection, where people go, oh, no, if you're like that when I haven't hired you, what are you going to be like when I have, sort of thing. So communication is really big, but also in terms of keeping your clients abreast of what's going on, because when a client asks you to do work for them, what they're doing is saying, I'm trusting you right now with my baby. Okay, my business is my baby. And as you grow your business, you'll get that, because at the end of the day, your baby's a bit messy and a bit stinky sometimes, right? Your business is the same. It's not always pretty. And so to let other people in to support you, I call it your business undies. You're showing people your business undies. It's scary. So it's a big leap of faith to trust somebody. And so you need to keep the communication going so they feel comfortable and secure in that relationship. The next thing is leadership. You're going to be leading your own team. You're leading your own business. Your team might be just a couple of contractors that you work with. It might just be you, yourself, and you. Whatever it is, you're going to be managing multiple people to keep your business going. And you need to be always, you know, as an employee, you can wait for stuff to come to you. As a business owner, you cannot. You need to be proactive and you need to lead. Skills. Obviously, you need to have skills that you can turn into a service. They have to be convertible into a service. So skills that you can create a product out of that create a solution for a particular type of client. I don't teach I've got a course for transcription, there's one, but generally speaking, when I'm offering training, I don't offer training in set skills anymore. I direct people to the specialist, because the industry is so broad now that if you want to learn how to do copywriting, you go to someone who knows copywriting inside and out. You want to learn websites, you know, same sort of thing. It's so broad now. You need to have a really strong vision. So thinking about your big why, and making sure that you have a really good idea of what your business feel is, what impact you want to be making on each and every client and each and every contact point. So seeing where you want to take it rather than sitting in the now all the time and not having a plan moving forward. Mindset is massive as well. So a business owner mindset versus an employee mindset is massive. So we're talking, as I said before, not waiting for things to come to you, being proactive, solving people's problems, but also taking responsibility when things go wrong and fixing them. I heard a story just recently where someone was doing a social media job for another VA. So VAs often work with each other. As a virtual assistant, you should definitely outsource some stuff so you know how it feels to let other people see your business undies, and to learn from that experience. But so this VA had asked the person to do social media management for them and had noticed that something was missing in the second month that they were working from them. So can you fix that? They said yes. Sent it through and said, can you double check, make sure I've done everything? And she was like, oh yeah, I'm sure it's fine because I've told you to fix it. And it hadn't been fixed, right? And so then when it all went out and the VA said, hey, why wasn't that done? I asked for that to be done. The one providing the service said, well, you didn't pick up the error either. That was their response, was to throw it straight back at the client. And so the VA, who was the client, was asking me, if, you know, am I right to feel annoyed about that? And I've gone, oh my God, yes, absolutely. Your virtual assistant, the person providing the service to you, has to solve your problems. And the standard had been set the first month. This is what had been done. The second month, it had been done in a different way, in a less than way. And that is not okay. And so instead of solving her problem, she had caused more angst and more grief. That is not what you want to be doing as a virtual assistant. So you've got to take it seriously. And you've got to have that mindset that, you know, in that particular case, she should have just owned it and said, I stuffed up. I'm going to fix it. This is what I'm going to do to fix it, and look at moving forward. But there's been no solution provided so far. So I don't think that they'll probably part ways because trust has been broken. Yeah. And the last one is around processes. Now, VAs tend to be really great with processes and procedures, but the reason why I put that on here is because one, when you have processes in place, you have consistency, yeah? And consistency builds trust in your clients because they know what to expect. There's nothing worse than having a business. You go to a business and each interaction you have with them has a different feel, or, you know, different way of communicating, even just different imagery when they're like, there's no consistency, it causes anxiety, right? And we don't want that in our clients. We want them to feel safe and secure. This is how things roll. Now, they might not necessarily see your processes, but you need to know how you're delivering things. And also, sometimes you will communicate with them and say, this is how we roll this out. This is how we're going to deliver this social media strategy, or this is how we're going to build your website, or this is how I'm going to support you with your email management, whatever it might be. And there's hundreds of things that could be on that list. So if yours wasn't on there, don't worry. And so it gives them that security and confidence, again, to allow you into their business, because they're not only allowing you into their business, they're paying you to go into their business. So it's hard to be a client. You've got to remember that as a VA, some people think, just give me the work. It's not that easy. It's a big mind battle. To let go and pay somebody to do something for you is really hard for some people. So you need patience as well. Okay? So consistency, processes, patience, all of that is to build trust. And then the other thing is that it means you're not recreating the wheel every time you have a new client. To go leverage your time and effort. I'm sure many of you are mums, and time is not something you have a lot of. So work smarter, not harder. Yeah? Any questions? The questions are good for me because then I can have some water and stop suffocating on my own words.
Hi, Rosie, Ellen here. I was just wondering with, you know, outsourcing and things, I am starting up a VA business at the moment. And so I'm starting, you know, I'm wondering at what point should I be starting to think about outsourcing, you know, like, for example, I am starting, you know, thinking about branding and things. I haven't got a creative bone in my body when it comes to graphic design or things like that. So I am thinking about talking with some graphic design friends of mine to see what they can do for me. Is that the sort of thing you're talking about there?
Yeah, absolutely. Any area that you come up to in your business where you go, hell, I shouldn't be doing that because me doing it is going to be a really bad idea, or me doing it is a bad use of my time. So either you suck at it, you don't know how to do it, or it's bad use of your time. That's when you outsource. But of course, it's going to be hard for some people to work out how much money can I outsource when the money's not coming in yet. And it is a bit of a horse and cart issue at the start, definitely. So putting a bit of a business budget plan together is useful. And you can say, okay, if I spoke to those people about doing the design work, what's the cost going to be to me? Is it going to be me doing some work for them for free? Or is it me having to earn a certain amount of money? And just being clear on, okay, that investment requires me to do this to get that return. And just so that you've got that clarity there and understanding that those investments you know, I can't stress how valuable some of them are beyond what you actually pay. So having a strong brand that communicates with your ideal client, and I implore you not to do that until you know who your ideal client is. So don't even talk to them about your brand yet, unless you know. But to actually invest and get things done the right way will save you a lot of time and effort, and also just make you look great in the long run. So they are really, you'll know certain things along the way where you just go, I really know I need to invest in this. I am a business owner. It's, you know, I can't open a cafe out of a tent, right? Doesn't matter how pretty it is. I have to invest in a structure. Yeah?
Yeah.
I love analogies. I'm just an analogy junkie. You'll get used to it. Okay. Any other questions?
Oh, I have a question. Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to unmute.
Yeah.
So as far as like a skill set, like I guess from my experience, like I've sort of have been out of the workforce for about 8 years, and before that, I kind of just did lots of different administrative jobs. So I kind of have a wide range, but nothing that I particularly specialize in. Like, do you sort of need you need to sort of pick a couple of things that you would specialize in, or it's like?
Yes and no. So if you've got that broad range of administrative skills, are you talking like EAPA type stuff?
Yeah, a bit of that. I did a bit of word processing. I've obviously done reception, like, yeah, sort of. I mean, I never really got into sort of accounting. Like that. I think I probably would have gone that direction, but I don't have those skills. So like I've seen a lot of stuff online, like accounting, but
yeah. Bookkeeping, you need to have all your qualifications for. It's a big process. Huge hats off to the people who do it. But if you're more of a generalist, I actually recommend, rather than saying I'm a VA, because people get confused by that. You're part of the virtual assistant industry, but don't advertise, like be part of the VA networks and stuff, but you don't go out there and say I'm a VA. It's kind of as vague as saying I'm a tradie. It's like, well, do I need you or not? I actually need someone to fix my toilet. And they go, no, I'm an electrician. You're like, oh, yay. So you could say with your skills, I'm a virtual EA or PA, you know, so if you felt excited by that. You want to love what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess take a bit of time to sort of figure out what you want to do. I mean, it all just seems so different than like just walking into the office and like people just dump stuff on your lap. Like I think that's what I'm used to. So sort of like thinking about, well, what do I really want to do? Like, does that take a lot to sort of figure that out? Like, what do you really want to do?
It's a big thing to get your head around. It's great to just, you know, put all of the things that you like doing down on a piece of paper and start nutting out where the links are, where the connections are, and where a service offering comes from out of that. In the training that I do, we look at all that sort of stuff because it is a lot to get your head around.
Yeah.
Some people go, yep, bookkeeping, gonna be a bookkeeper, or other people go websites, love websites, or design, love design. Whereas most go, okay, well, these are the bundle of skills, the things that I'm good at. What does that mean?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's very normal. Yeah. So this stuff is the extra stuff that you need to start off with. And it's funny because a lot of the time people will go, you want to start a business? All you need is a computer, internet, and a phone. Yeah, well, you kind of need a lot more than that, but you do need these as the basics just so that you can function. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. All right. The real assets that I think are important, having a positive attitude, because you're going to have really, really shit days in there. And with a job, you know, we're going to have shit days when we have a job, but at the end of the day, you get paid at the end of the week and you can go home and you can forget about it, or you can blame someone else, or you can do whatever you like. But when you're running your own business and you have a bad day, you've got to have strategies there to help pick you back up again. But a positive attitude overall is obviously going to put you ahead of the game. And the ability to take responsibility of both your wins and your losses, and learning from any mistakes, however way they happen. So I did one of these sessions last night, and one of the people attending said, oh, you sent that email out to me already and the link is broken. And I'm like, yay, it's a way to highlight what I've done wrong. But the best thing is, I know now that the link doesn't work. so I can go in and I can fix it, right? So it's all about how you look at it. You can go, I can laugh at how I stuff things up all the time, and I'm fabulous for your confidence because I do, and I'm still thriving, right? It's all about your attitude and the way that you work with it. And I can still have days where I have full-on tanties or I don't want to go near the computer, but having strategies and the mindset to get back and get into it again is going to be really, really important. And a curious mind, a willingness to keep learning and exploring and evolving your business. One of the things I love, it's a quote that's online, it's like, when things get tough in your business, just throw up your arms and say, plot twist, and just take a new direction, right? If something's not working, then plot twist. Yeah, and just roll with it, have fun, just do what you can. Those are real assets that you can bring to your business. Okay, so the industry, what's the industry like? It's a hugely supportive industry. So here in Australia, there are loads of virtual assistants, and they tend to be on my network. So I've got a community of virtual assistants. They give so much of themselves to each other. They, you know, anytime someone asks a question, the advice is amazing. If people know the answer, they will give the advice. If there's no response, you know nobody knows the answer, because they totally are always there to support each other. It's really, really beautiful. Obviously, we're all an industry that has hundreds and hundreds of, or thousands of women in it. We're going to have some people that we don't like, some that we do. That's normal, but overall, it's a really, really supportive industry, which is really nice to work in. It's always evolving. So if you think about the fact that when I started Facebook, I put a post up when Virtually Yours started. I put a post in Facebook. It came up in my memories last year that said, ugh, some people are using Facebook for their businesses. This is just not the place for it. I said that on Facebook back in 2004, right? Now, so obviously it wasn't the place for it then. And I don't think even LinkedIn was really happening. Twitter wasn't around. Podcasts didn't exist. What else is there? You couldn't do remote reception type stuff. Bookkeeping software wasn't online yet. You know, so it has evolved so much. And so we never know where it's going to take us, which is why the curious mind is important. Because, I mean, there's people now that are specialists in managing podcasts who started their businesses before podcasts started and could never have seen that that's where they would go with it. And I love that. I love that. I love that what I do now, I couldn't have even vocalized what I do now when asked at high school, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, it just, the internet started the year I graduated from high school. So, you know, crazy. As I mentioned earlier, one of my passions is around promoting the industry as valuable as it is, and supporting people within the industry to step up so that they can show their value and deliver on that, but also promoting it to other business owners about who we are, what we do, and all that sort of thing. It's been interesting in this last couple of months where people are like, oh, look, you know, there's people that are offshore, you know, that are remote, that do work, and you can get people overseas. And it's like, get with the program. We've been here for 20-something years. It shows we need to do more education. So it does need for you to educate people on what you're doing. It's not where you can go, I'm a mechanic and people know. Okay, you'll have people look at you blankly and go, I don't know what you're talking about. How does that work? The lifestyle is, money can be like this. It's definitely not going to be like this. So I don't want you to think that it's a get rich quick scheme. It's a work your butt off scheme. And some people, it's a really good selling point there, isn't it? Some people won't even turn a profit until a year in. Some people it'll be 3 months, some people 6 months. It depends what you're offering, who you're offering it to, how hard you work, how you set yourself up. There's so many factors. So yeah, I can't even tell you that you're going to make money from it. But if you set yourself up right, you should, because the work is out there. But you will find that being self-employed, the money can be very ebb and flow. Once you set yourself up with consistent clients, though, you usually get a fair idea of, you know, what's coming in. But again, you never know whether clients are just going to turn around and go, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore. So you've got to roll with the punches. The best thing though is that you have choices. You have choices every single day about how your business looks, feels, what you offer. I've had times with my virtual assistant business. So I've done like the network. I've been running the Virtually Yours network for years and years and years. I started off doing supporting not-for-profits and community groups and chambers of commerces and allied health providers. And then I got sick of it. So I said to them, I'm not really rocking this anymore. Every time the phone rings, I just want to scream. I'm actually really keen on doing websites now. And I just changed. And I found them new people and I changed like the business name stayed the same. And I said to people, I want to help you with your websites. And so then for the next 10 years, I did websites and graphic design. And then after that, I went, yeah, I'm sick of this now. So I changed it again. And you can. The best clients are the ones that say, what do you love doing right now? What do you want more of? And they send that your way. So you have choices. You have clients that stress you out. You tell them to go away. You don't have to support them. You have choices on what you charge, how you deliver your services. At the end of the day, it is all your choice. And that is such a huge, valuable asset. The lifestyle, again, is that with that comes the fact that the buck stops with you. So the good stuff, totally roll with it. Just do the whole, look what I did, and totally celebrate it. The bad stuff, just kind of a quiet version of the same. Did that, learning from that, gonna fix that. Yeah. And as I said, it's always changing. We have no idea what the industry is going to look like 5 years from now. All right, so I'm going to ask you, what is your main concern at the moment about working within the virtual assistant industry? Who'd like to go? Cool.
Well, for me, the reason I'm getting into virtual assisting in the first place is because of health challenges. Mm-hmm. I started off as a teacher and I loved it, but it broke my health. You know, my first school was a pretty toxic environment and yeah, my health crumbled. I'm just coming off a year of being a dental assistant. The job was kind of landed in my lap at the time when I needed to get out of teaching. But even part-time as a dental assistant, my health couldn't handle it. My husband and I both have chronic health issues, and so I'm looking for something where I can work from home. And I think virtual assisting is it. You know, everything's come together so quickly. I go, well, this has got to be the direction that I'm meant to go. Yeah. But I'm just, you know, and I'm positive about it because I can see that I can see the flexibility there. But I'm also going, okay, this is going to be, I know it's going to be a hard slog. I'm not going into it because I think it's going to be easy.
No.
But yeah, I'm just wondering if you can sort of speak into that decision.
Yeah, completely support that. One of the reasons why I stopped in my mid-20s, I stopped working from at my job and decided to jump into this was I had post-traumatic stress, and I couldn't go to work every day. And so I was using my sick leave all the time, and I felt like I was just always unwell, and I was getting migraines, and it was just horrible. And I just felt like I'm always having to get permission, and I'm always having to get a doctor's certificate, and I'm always just asking, can I just live in this challenge with your permission? Do you know what I mean? And 100%. So yeah. And so now if I have a migraine, or if I'm having a day where I'm just, as I said, I don't want to even look at the computer unless I have, you know, something scheduled in that I have to do. And you can still reschedule stuff as you need if you're feeling really, really unwell. For the most part, it's been so good for that. It's allowed me, I've created something that allows me to be kind to myself. Yeah. And so then, you know, I find that one of the things that I'm known well for is that I'm totally open book. I'm very honest. And so, I'll say to people, if I can't attend something or whatever it might be, because my head is just not there. It's not even a migraine. It's just, I'm just not. they know I'm telling the truth, and they know that I love what I do and I will support people as much as I can, but I also, my number one priority is to be kind to myself. And so I've created a business that allows that. So I encourage you to do that too. Yeah. So yeah, work is so hard. For, like, you know, before I did virtual assistants, I worked in disability, aged care and allied health. And one of the programs that I run was a program for people with chronic conditions. And it was absolutely amazing. I loved it so much because the people that came, we did sessions in the evening once a week over a period of 6 weeks, I think it was. And everyone had different chronic conditions. So they're all totally unique, but they all had very similar battles. And they were, to me, they were amazing people. And they've just got so much that they've got to contend with from day to day without the added element of our really kind of warped and twisted employment system that just, you know, yeah. And it was one of the things that when my migraines started, I had to go on medication for my migraines because I was getting a few a week and it was just awful. I just thought, I don't know. I can't be trapped in this because this is not healthy. So yeah. And you'll find a lot of virtual assistants have either some sort of medical condition, they might have depression, or they might have a child with special needs or a partner with special needs. And so they've created their business to support them with that. So it's actually super common. Yeah.
That's great to know.
Hey, power to you. Anybody else? Where are you at? What do you think? Ruth, what are you thinking? Where are you at with yours? I've seen your name plenty of times before. I feel like, yeah, this isn't overly new to you.
It's not. I'm a careers coach. So I'm not here for me today. I work delivering careers programs with a Learn Local centre, and we have been in a couple of network things together, Rosie. That's how I've known of you. And I'm here because one of the programs I deliver is at Pines Learning, and it's a business administration course, and I deliver the careers component. So I teach people how to do their resumes and cover letters and go for job interviews and all of that sort of stuff.
Yep.
One of the things I do is to sell your program, and I get all of the students, and I've told them all to sign up for this information session as well. Awesome. So I'm here to gather information to share with my students about being a virtual assistant, and everything you've just said in terms of the women that I work with is all true. So a lot of them are in circumstances where they're trying to support themselves, support their families. They might have mental illness. They might have just other issues that it's hard for them to get out of home, special needs children, all of those sorts of things. So yeah, I'm here to learn so I can advocate them going down this path as they develop their skills through the business admin program that we deliver there. So
that is so awesome. We need to collaborate.
I think we first met at a cafe in Eltham through Fiona.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Motivating Mums.
Yes, that's the one. So yeah, I've been sprouting virtually yours and seen you grow your business, which has been truly amazing.
Thank you.
And yeah, trying to provide guidance to others to go down this path, exactly what you're talking about. So it's really interesting to hear everything.
Oh, cool. Oh, I love that. You just moved it. Very nice. All right, Fiona, where are you at with it? Where's your VA journey at?
Oh, hi. Sorry, I'll just unmute. I got my dog playing in the background.
So do I. She keeps scratching.
Yeah, he's still a puppy, so he's a little bit annoying, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm very up and down. It's something I really want to do. I do have one client, which isn't much, but ideally, because I've got a sole mortgage, I need a solid income.
Yep.
But I'm just so over working for corporates.
Mm-hmm.
And as they say, people, they just want bums on seats. So yeah, that's why I want that flexibility to be able to work from home, using my skill set. But it's just, I guess it's building up the business. And the other issue I have is setting up, because I just think, oh, what if I do all this setup and then I get no business and then I've spent all this money? So right now, finances are a priority. So I have been looking for work on the side because I need a full-time income. But ideally, I want to, if I could, I'd have this up and running full-time. So I just want to try and build it up over time, if I can, into something that is predominantly full-time.
Offering what sort of services?
The thing that's my issue is I have a specialised skill set, which is not much, and I do very complex document formatting. I help with client pitches, as in setting up PowerPoint presentations.
Oh, yep.
And running with those, which I've been doing for many years now. So at the moment, I just went for a job yesterday, which is in bid coordination. So I've done a lot of those, which is a lot of document layout and running the bid from start to finish. But my other skill set has been as a presentation specialist. So yeah, setting up a lot of presentations, whether it be training or client pitches, things about business, and just guiding them through that, as well as all the design and layout.
There's plenty of work for that.
Sorry?
There's plenty of work for that.
Oh, where? Tell me where. Because, yeah, it's just, I'm sort of not knowing where to start. And some people say, oh, try LinkedIn, try here, try there. And, you know, when you just get overwhelmed and it's just like, oh my God, I don't know. And then I just walk away because it's just too much.
Yeah, exactly. You need to be thinking about who it is who's paying you ease, who needs that stuff. And I think a lot of the time, if you've been in employment your whole life, you don't really know, because you don't know what everybody else is doing. And so, I mean, I see there's people whose work is predominantly on the speaking circuit. So people who are authors, people who are motivational speakers, people who are thought leaders, they need amazing presentation. And they need strategies around that. They need everything. They want to look good, and they need their slide deck to look good to accompany them. So that's who I would be pitching to. Yeah, it's just a matter of finding who, and I guess to me a lot of it would be word of mouth, like, hey, I know this person that does this, blah blah blah. Because I'm not confident in the marketing side, although I've always worked for marketing departments, business development and sales. But see, I've always been in the back, just plugging away, doing my thing and just totally enjoying it. But I'm not actually outspoken as a person to say, hey, I've got this great sale, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm not like a sales person. You don't need to be. You don't need to be.
How to run a sales pitch with a presentation, and
you don't need to. You don't need to. That's just not how you would get that sort of work. So the beauty of, if you think about it, the people that you would be approaching would be very outgoing. I would call them lions, right? People who want to look great. They want things to look amazing, to be easy for them. And they don't want other people to have the light on them, right? So they don't want a VA who is going to outshine them. They want a VA who's going to make them look good. They're not looking for an out there, you know, outlandishly confident human being to do this stuff. They want that person that is behind the scenes, bloody awesome at what they're doing. Thanks, Rachel. No worries. Who can create that stuff without overly bothering them and without being seen by anybody else. So, and they would never have you do some sort of pitch for them. You're not pitching to companies. You'd be pitching to sole traders who are out there doing speaking gigs all the time as an individual, selling their course, their product, their book, their idea, whatever it might be. So you've got to get out of that idea of that corporate concept. Because unless you want to pitch to corporates, and you don't want to work with corporates anymore, so why would you? Then you need to put yourself into business owner mindset, where we're all like this, where we're quite chill and we're chatting with each other. That
Yeah.
actually is how it works. We don't do all the toffee stuff. If you had to pitch to anyone, it would just be having a Zoom chat talking about, you might give them a couple of examples of what you've done, but mainly, especially if it's a lion, you'd be having a Zoom chat all about them.
Yeah.
They want to hear all about them. So it's just a different mindset.
Thanks.
That's all right. Christina, where are you at?
Yeah, so I probably touched on it a bit earlier, but I'm just kind of, I'm just interested in exploring this world, but I'm not really sure. Like, I am a little bit nervous about owning a business. Like that, I have to admit that completely scares me. Because I've always been a bit like Fiona, someone that's just in the background, happily doing what I'm doing, but I don't want a lot of attention on myself. So
Very normal in the VA industry. Very, yeah.
When I do, I feel like that. I've always been horrible at job interviews. Like, I'm terrible at selling myself. So that's why, like, I think probably once I'm in it and once I'm going and I have that client base, then I'll thrive. But I feel like I'm gonna kind of flounder a bit trying to find people and be able to prove myself to people that, hey, yeah, I actually can do this and can do it really well, and to building that confidence in myself as well. I think there's probably a little bit of that. Like, in some ways, it's easier to go in and just go into an office and somebody tells you what to do, but then there's so many things that are not desirable about that as well. Like, people just tell you what to do, and that gets really annoying. So
I always say I will not be told what to do. I couldn't possibly get a job now, because if someone told me I had to rock up at a certain time every single day, I'd be like, are you serious? Like, I can't, no. And I would resist it purely on just stubbornness, not because I can't do it, but because I will not be told. And I think it's funny, because when you start your own business, I think you get really, really comfortable with that. And you get to a point where, the thought of going back to work horrifies you, because you're so chained, you're so defined by all of their rules and regulations. And we get to a point where we just go, I'm just not cool with that anymore. So, but no, I think you would be amazing. Actually.
Well, I was kind of wondering, like, are there particular sort of websites that you look on to find people? Like, I guess you're with Fiona, like, finding authors and that. Like, are there sort of websites that people are using that they're kind of
to find VAs?
Yeah, to find VAs, or for VAs to sort of look and find clients. Like, is there?
Well, that's one of the things that Virtually Yours does, is we have job leads. So people come and they say, this is what I'm looking for. And that goes out to our members. And if you've got the skills for it, you would email. So you don't have to do this whole big, the first contact is email. And you would let them know, this is how I roll. I would love to support you with that. I can understand that you do this, 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 this. And so you just respond to what they've written down in their job lead request. And then, you would have some job leads, you would have like maybe 1 or 2 VAs respond to it. So your chances are pretty good. You still got to obviously connect with that person, psychologically. And others, you'll have quite a few people go forward, depending on what sort of work it is. But yeah, that's one of the things that we do, is we try to help VAs get jobs and try to help business owners find good VAs who, like we always say to them, that if they're on the Virtually Yours network, they value community. They've got a backup plan for services that they don't know how to offer, because they've built this amazing community around them of people who all offer different stuff. And they're obviously invested in their business because they're part of this network. And so that's how we get lots and lots of job leads coming through.
Okay, awesome. I don't know why I didn't connect that that's what you do, but that makes perfect sense now that you say that.
I know, it's funny. I sometimes think it's obvious, but it's not. It's not. Like, there's a lot of different facets and stuff like that. Yeah. So does anyone else want to share with me where they're at? Yes. All right. So Eva first. Is it Eva?
Yes, it is. Hi, how are you?
Sorry, Tina. Who was you next?
Can you hear me, or you can't?
Yes.
Well, actually, I have my own business called Paramount Resumes, and I've been working from home for the last 12 years, but I have been, obviously, have another part-time job on the side. So the virtual assistance for me is basically doing resumes from home. So I've been actually advertising through Facebook, and during this current COVID time, I've actually been really busy formatting resumes, making cover letters. I've been going on Airtasker and Facebook Marketplace, and people have been coming to me. I have been invited in a BMI, but I've yet to go inside because I'm not that confident yet to be talking about resumes with people who already have jobs and positions.
Yeah,
So I don't know where that's going to...
Yeah, they may not be your target market. So, you have to,
so I've worked with IT consultants, putting all their tickets from home, doing remote work from them, trying to sell software basically, and getting cold leads and turning them into warm leads. So I've done a little bit of that as well, but it's consistently of the work. It's hard for me to get, you know, a good 30 hours a week out of me because I struggle to find that work. So it's always been a part-time gig for me, but I've been using obviously Excel, Outlook, you know, diary management skills and a few other things. And I'm really comfortable with website management now too, and building my own websites. I've really enjoyed that side of it. It's brought out this creativity in me. The first year I hated it. I wanted to walk away from the screen and not touch it again. But the more I delve into it and the different packages I'm using, I'm actually enjoying it now because it's working and I can see what I can actually do. So it's about a little bit empowering yourself, having self-confidence and getting yourself out there and talking to people. It doesn't matter who it is. You could be a doctor, your dentist, your accountant. And basically go out there and just talk to them about what you do. And there's always someone out there that might need somebody for something.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how I've been running, but it's been really hard. But this COVID time, unfortunately, has been a good time for me because people are looking for work.
Yeah.
So that's where I've been for a little while, but it's just having the consistency of those hours coming through. And you're right, you do have to plan, have a graphic designer on hand when you need one. It's basically who you know, and if you've got good friends who can do certain things, they can help you along the way, and you can save, you know, you help them, they help you. Yeah, it just sort of works like that.
Yeah, building your community of people who've got skills, great skills. Yeah, for sure.
So that's where I'm at, and so that's what I'm doing. And I've found it very interesting that you're out there. And virtual is now very strong because we're all working from home, and everybody needs somebody to either do data entry, you know, a few letters or even a few phone calls. As you know, the medical field is going that way as well. So everybody's going to need someone from home, and whether it's COVID or something else in a year's time, it's going to be, everyone's going to utilise our skills in some way, shape or form. And you've just got to be confident in the way you present yourself. And you've just got to know your brand, know where you're going, and move forward all the time. Don't look back.
Yeah, nice. That's exciting. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So when you say that you want to have 30 hours, is it that you would love to be working 30 hours a week, or that's your target financially?
It's my target financially, really, from home, to juggle work-home balance. At the moment, you know, I'm working outside of that probably 25 hours a week outside. Then I'll probably do maybe 5 or 10 from home, but it's not enough. And the consultants were never enough work for me. It was only like 3-4 hours a day. And to me, I needed like a full 8 hours a day, maybe 3-4 days a week would be better for me.
Can I just put that on its head for a second? Think about how much you want to, so how much money you want to be making per week rather than how many hours you want to be working, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
So if
we're looking myself, yes.
Yeah, that's right. So we're looking for 30 hours rather than looking for, say, $800. So if we go, all right, well, I want to be turning over $800 a week. How many resumes is that? Am I charging enough for them? I could charge $500 a resume. I'd have to do 2 resumes a week, and I can do that in 6 hours. And the rest of my time is free, right? So rather than thinking about it in terms of what are you talking about, $30 an hour kind of situation?
Well, it depends on what per job I'm doing. So if I'm finding someone on executive level, yes, I'm going to be charging over, you know, 150. But if I'm finding someone in a clerical or nursing, social worker, I'm not going to charge them $150. And I have to try and be competitive in this market too. You know, some people could show me their resume and I think, okay, and it needs a little bit of work. So I won't be charging them too much. It depends where they're coming from. I hate to say, I do check their suburbs and where they are and how affluent they are too. So I do sort of juggle it up. I'd always say 100, 150, but it just depends what their work is. Yeah, you just got to look at it. How many pages, how much work I have to do on it.
Okay, so
how much research I have to do to prep them up a bit more. And with
if you were promoting resumes to high-end executives only, and you were strategizing all of your marketing to only appeal to high executive type people, then you would be hearing from those people who can afford to pay a huge amount of money for their resume, because the return on investment for them if they get that job is massive.
Yes.
Right? So you need to change the way you're thinking about it. So you're treating yours at the moment, to me, it's this beautiful community service where you're doing a pay what you want service.
Basically, yes.
And that's
Because
beautiful, but that's not going to work.
No, because I'm finding it really hard. Not everybody wants to pay even $100, $150 now. People
Because you're
don't have the
targeting
money.
the wrong people. Yeah, you're targeting the wrong people.
I am, but you're dead on. I'm not targeting the executive level as I should, and it's really hard to come by because we advertise too.
If you know who your market is, then it's easy to advertise because you know where they are. And your market needs to be so specific that you go, I know where they are. I know where they hang out, when they hang out, what they want to hear, what they'll pay, and what solution they want, because I know my target market. And that means that I only need to do this many resumes a week to hit my financial objectives, rather than I have to be at my desk working this many hours a week to hit my objectives. You've got to flip your thinking around from hours to dollars.
Exactly.
And outcomes. Yeah. I want to move on just because I'm conscious of the time, but it's really awesome to meet you.
Thank you.
So Hannah, how are you going? Is that how you say your name?
Oh, my name is Hannah.
Hannah, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna ask because I've been I thought about VAs before, and then I kind of just put it in the back of my head, and then the past couple of weeks I've just been looking and researching and okay, this is something that I would look into, because I've been an EA before, but mainly in real estate.
Yep.
I didn't know if that was even something that I could, if I was to start this, was that something I can start going towards people that are in real estate, or because I done stuff for them, but I don't have my certificate of registration, so there's a lot of work that I'm not able to do, but I've done certain things, right? Because I've done it in the States and here, so I don't know even where to start. I'm just okay, I'm gonna start this. I know I can do it. I think I know I can do it, but I just don't know what's the next step. I don't even know.
You can do it. Yes. Yeah. So it's about seeing whether the market is here the same way it is in America. I know you've got your real estate VAs, definitely.
Yeah.
So it's about seeing what that looks like here.
Yeah.
And sort of whether you've ticked those boxes, and if there's any boxes you don't tick yet, how you would go about doing that if that's the way that you move forward. But you can definitely do it. Stop maybeing there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is it so? I guess it's just I've done a lot of I've been in corporate. I just don't know where to start. Do I just get an ABN? Do I do this? I don't even know where to go to start at all. So.
Yeah. So to get started, I mean, I'm going to talk slightly in a moment about some training that I offer. Obviously, I'm going to talk to you about something that I offer, because that's how this works. But I'm not going to harp at you about stuff because I hate that. Like Fiona was saying, I hate sales, so I just tell people about what I do. That's how I do things. So the first thing you do, there's some stuff you need to register for an ABN is the first thing. That is the number one. First thing is your ABN, because you need your ABN to register a business name, and then you need to, check to see what sort of status you want to be set up and blah, 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 blah. But the first thing is an ABN. And then it depends on, what you want to do. And I always say to people, a lot of people will straight up say, all right, I need a logo and I need a business name and I need a website. And you just are wasting your time with those until you know what your service solution is and who needs it. When you have nailed that, then come up with your business name and your branding and your website. Okay, so we always do it back to front. So one of the things, when I first started off in VA training 100 years ago, someone said to me, I'm starting my business, but I'm not going to tell my friends and family about it in case I fail. I said to them, I totally get where you're coming from, but you're guaranteeing that you're going to fail, because you need to get your stakeholders on side, so that everybody around you who can impact you and your business is a stakeholder. So communicating with your family and friends about what you're trying to achieve, who your ideal client is, how serious you are about your business, how they can help you, whether it's by staying away during certain hours, or by telling people what you do, or by connecting with people, or whatever it might be. Communicate with them about what you're doing. Don't be afraid of that. You may find some people will say, go out and get a real job. Those people are terrified that you might succeed doing your own business. That is their problem, not yours. So yeah, just let people know, this is what I'm doing. I'm passionate about this. I'm excited about this. And this is how you can support me. And if you love me, this is what you will do. If you don't, piss off, right? It's a great way to filter your friends. So another thing too, yeah, is communicating with them what your non-negotiables are. So you need to stay healthy in your mind as you're running your business. And it can be very easy for us to just work so hard that everything, including our health, mentally and physically, suffers. So make sure that your own health is a number one priority. So I always talk to people about my non-negotiables. I realized that I had non-negotiable activities a few years ago. So I've suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. And I find that if I don't do these non-negotiables, everyone suffers, including me. I'm a Leo, so everybody suffers. So if I found out that if I can do some gardening or some outside painting, whether it's a mural or something like that, Christina, you've probably seen all my graffiti down at the primary school. Then I am a much mentally healthier person, even if it's for half an hour, even if I'm feeling terrible. If I can go out there and mow the lawn even, that's really good for me. And I've said to my family and friends, you need to support me to be able to do that. If I'm blocked from doing that, so for my husband, I say to him, if you were not allowed to run, think about how you would feel. That's what this is like for me. And so if I can't do my non-negotiables and be supported regularly to make them a priority in my life, people around me will die. I will murder them.
Yeah.
We don't want that. So to avoid a messy, messy court case, support me to be able to go and do my gardening when I want to without children hanging off me, children asking me to cook them food, children asking me where things are. Okay, so communicate that with your family and your friends so that they can support you to support yourself. But you need to know what things are going to shift you from murderous person to happy person.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And set boundaries right from the start. The amount of times I've heard, I'll say even just then with the resumes, I will charge whatever you can afford. You know, that's not a boundary. Well, it is a boundary. It's a very loose boundary. So set your boundaries about when you will work, when you won't work, what you will put up with, what you will not put up with, what you will accept for pay, what you won't. Put those boundaries out there. And you don't have to be horrible about it. What I find is if you just showcase that they are your boundaries and you stick by them, then people will know that's how you roll. So if you find that you start giving things for free or discounting your hours or working crazy hours when that's not how you want to be working, people will go, ooh, stretchy boundaries. Nice. Let's see how far we can go with that.
Yeah.
Let's see how far we can push that. And then because you're nice people, you're like, oh, I feel bad. I've got to help them. I've got to do the things. Set your boundaries and be clear with yourself about why that boundary is important to you and the consequence to you if those boundaries are breached. Okay? So that you're clear on this is why I don't do that. This is why I do that. Okay? All right. So this is what I teach, and this touches on. So the first thing that I teach when I do my training is actually completely and utterly not focused on your business and completely and utterly focused on you. And it's about how you respond to your environment, how you communicate, what floats your boat, what doesn't. Confidence is a massive part of this because confidence is a massive, massive part of running your own business. And you've all said this is something that you've already...
Can I ask a question? Sorry to interrupt. Do you have contracts for people? So someone works for you for, say, you're going to work with them for 6 months and you want to assure that you're going to get paid for that amount of time. Do you actually work out a contract between you and them?
Always.
Yep. And do you have that written down on paper before you go ahead?
Always.
As a virtual assistant, because you can get burnt very quickly if you don't get paid before or even after the job, because they could just walk away. That's it. And you're not going to fight for, say, a couple of $100. You need to be a little bit more. So that's what I'm asking you. Is that what part of what you do to create a foundation for people?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to have your agreements. So we've got a whole lot of documents, templates and everything like that we work through. But yeah, an agreement, I say you must have an agreement in place if you want to stay friends, because your agreement will tell people how things are going to roll. And when you've both read the agreement, you can't say, oh, well, I thought it was this, right? You nut the stuff out right from the start when you have an agreement, and it just puts it out there. The moment you start working with someone without an agreement, you're going to have assumptions, and they may not be aligned, and you're way, way more likely to be misaligned, miscommunicate, and have a fallout than if you had an agreement. So people are scared to put an agreement in place. They're like, I don't want to be like a tosser and have an agreement, and or this person, I know them, or they're a friend of a friend, or whatever. I trust them. No, the agreement is so that you stay friends, because the agreement says this is how it's going to roll.
It's so true, because I was given a phone to look after for an IT guy, and he thought, now with me having this phone, guess what, I was his 24/7 guru. And then when I got the phone call on Sunday and I answered the phone and I billed him for it, he wasn't happy, because he said, you're working. And I said, hang on, I've got your phone, it rang, and I answered it and I gave you the answer, and it was ongoing work for him for an old client. Shush, please. So he immediately said, well, don't answer my phone Sundays. But I'm thinking, hey, you gave me your phone, you gave me no boundaries on your phone. And then the time when I wanted to have some time, like you said, to yourself, he was like, well, you're not answering my phone between 9 and 10. I said, well, that's my hour to myself to go for a walk.
Put those, they've got to be written down. You've got to communicate what is the go and what isn't.
And
because he's assuming that you're not going to pick up. You're assuming he wants you to pick up. Yeah. And then suddenly you're like, well, hey, now there's money involved because you're going to bill him for it. Yeah. And it gets uncomfortable and it's awkward. And
Yep, exactly. You're dead on.
So easy. Yeah, it's so easy for it to just get sticky very quickly.
It can get sticky very quickly, and you do have to have a verbal and written agreement at all given times, because you can be taken for a ride very quickly working from home, because they assume you're home, you're easy to, you're too nice, too kind, and you're going to give your time because you want the money, don't you? And you want to work. So you're going to do everything you can to get that. And as soon as, it's give and take a little bit too.
I reckon, and this is just coming to me now, I reckon the more boundaries you have, the more people will pay for you. The easier you are to, if you're a business easy, right? That's a new thing, by the way, just coming up with that now. You're cheap because you're easy. You'll do anything, right? It's clear that you'll do anything for money. Therefore, I can lowball you. And I can call you at whatever hours I want, because I know that you're desperate. But as soon as you set boundaries and you go, no, I don't have tech on the weekend. I don't respond to calls after 5 o'clock. This is how I do it. This is how I do it. This is how I do it. Suddenly you'll pay heaps more out per hour.
It's so true.
Because they've set the standards and they're professional and they're going, no, I value my business. I know how I want to work, and this is how I want to work. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, you do have to say that. You do have to say take it or leave it, or else they can take you for a ride very quickly. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? Funny old world. So yeah, we look at you and also with that, different communication styles. Different people respond differently to the way that you're going to pitch your work. Different people respond to how you communicate on the phone, whether you're casual, whether you're not. So different personality types, and we explore that. And also, strategies around confidence and imposter syndrome and all those fun things that you get to face quite, regularly. And then the next thing we actually look at, so I really encourage you, if you do want to set yourself up, this is the sequence that you set yourself up in. So you then explore what skills you have and you turn those into sellable services. So you turn them into solutions. So that's a whole process in itself. After that, you can set up your foundations, because you know what your service is and you've got an idea then in your head of who your ideal client is going to be. And you can kind of work on that a little bit more in the marketing section. So in foundations, then we go, all right, we're going to make sure we've got a service offering. We know what it is. We're solid. We know who we are. We know how we're going to roll. Let's set up our ABN. Let's set up our insurances if we need to be doing that. Let's make sure we've got agreements in place and we've got some processes happening. We've got our bookkeeping software, our CRM, blah, blah, blah. Then we look at marketing. Only then do we look at how am I going to put this out there, and who, that ideal client, let's evolve that. Let's look at exactly who that is where they hang out, what they want to hear, what their pain point is and how I can ease it, and then start developing that collateral. And so that's when you have your branding, your logo, your website, and your strategies around your client journey, you know, when they first hear from you all the way through to when they want to buy from you, to when they have bought and they've finished providing that service. So that's all within that marketing area. And then when you've got that, that's when you look at scaling and you go, okay, well, this is how it's working. Where can I rein stuff in so that I'm leveraging my time and my effort better? Where can do I want to build a team? Why do I want to build a team? What's the outcome for that? How can I package this product in a way that makes me more money? So Eva, for you, you know, about the resumes, what is it that I need to be saying and delivering to those executives so that they go, yeah, here's $1,000. You know, please create my resume web page and my hard copy, my electronic copy of my resume, and yeah, take my money, right?
Yep.
So that's how my training program runs. And even if you didn't do my training program, I would highly recommend that that's the order that you actually develop your business. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It's just knowing now, okay, I've done a couple of executives, and then it comes from me with word of mouth. So then it's proof that in the pudding that you've actually done the work and given someone some work. And not only that, I actually provide.
That's good.
Yeah, and then what I do is I actually find them work too. And that's something I do on the side just to help them out. Say, okay, I've got you a really good resume now. Here's about 4 jobs you can apply for on your own. What do you think? And then they'll say, yeah, I like that too. So I put a few, not just do 1 or 2 things, I'll do a little bit more.
That's a whole package.
It's a whole package, but I don't probably
for
sell myself a bit short.
$150. For $150, that's crazy. And that's lovely. If you know what you could do, because you obviously want to support people who are,
yes,
you know, you can have, yes. And so you can say, all right, my business needs to be financially viable. So I'm going to be targeting the execs, right?
Yep.
And because I'm targeting the execs and I'm having 2 or 3 execs a week, that sounds really weird, I can actually donate a resume to a student or a single mum every month. I can donate it.
Yeah,
I can do one for free because I'm making money strategically over here. I can give back to so this is your big why. I want to help, you know, this particular person get jobs. I want them to get independence. I want them to feel confident in themselves and have that support at this really scary phase of their life.
It is. And I find that very rewarding too, because I've done myself a favour. I'm a bit of a people pleaser too. So if they've found something and I've helped them get there, well, it's a win for me too. So then if I do that, then I get another one later because they'll give it to a friend and say, so-and-so helped me. And whether it's a neighbour or a friend of theirs or a friend of a friend, there's always someone out there looking for work that wants something better.
But it's not viable long-term if it's not financial.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got to have that strategy.
True, I agree. Yeah. Thanks.
So the things that I don't teach in my training, although I do provide resources and links and information around it, are ironically the things that I offered as a service for 10 years as a virtual assistant, and that is building a website and creating a logo. You'll have other places that say, we're going to help you set up your virtual assistant business. And the big seller is that they'll make sure that you've got a website and a logo. This is so important to have done right, or you're going to be redoing the whole lot once you've worked out who your ideal client is and what your service offering is. Because if you skim over those first steps, then you're guesstimating. And this is where I find people they start to create their website and suddenly they don't know what to say in their website, and they start copying other people's content because they actually don't know who they are and what they're trying to offer. They haven't nailed that yet. So that's why I don't actually offer a website build and a logo with my training, because I think it's so important. This is easy to do once you've done the other stuff. It's only hard to do if you haven't. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, so, and the other reason with the training that I offer, I want to work with people who want to know how to do stuff. Even if they don't end up doing it all the time, they want to know how to create their own business, because they understand that that is one of the attributes of an Aussie VA, is that they're a business owner who gets it, right? And they need to show right from the get-go that they're self-motivated. So if you've got someone holding your hand, creating your agreements for you, like we give templates, so you've just got to make it your own way, but, you know, sitting down with you and doing all the writing for you, or, you know, basically holding your hand the whole time. The second they let go, you're going to fall. And I don't want that. I want strong people. And so I know that Fiona mentioned this towards the start of the session about that feeling where you've got this exciting new idea, and this is what it looks like for so many people. You have this exciting idea, you go out and get started, and then you get all this information, and then you put it out there, nothing happens, and you have a confidence crash, and nobody buys what you put out there. And you go, oh, well, now what do I do? This happens all the time because the sequence isn't correct. Right, because you've actually just done the scatter approach most likely. Not saying, Fiona, that you have, and so this is what happens with people's journeys, is that they kind of go, okay, well, I'm a VA, let me help you. And they put it out there and everyone goes, that's nice, dear, because they don't think you're talking to them. They think that you're just talking. Yeah? And I don't want that for you. So with the right plan, you can make sure that you've got someone there to support you moving forward, because you can't do it on your own. You don't need a hand holding, but you do need a cheer squad. You need to get the information out of your head that's in there, and there's more than you think. You've got so many skills, so much background. You're all completely unique in what you bring to the table. So you need to get that out of your head and work out how that can be turned into a business. And then you get that clarity and you can create that solution, work out who needs it, you'll get clients, and that will help you build on your confidence. So that's why you've got to do it the right way. So I've already spoken about whether it's your future or not. The only person that I haven't spoken to that is in here was, who was it? It was, let's just turn the camera off. I'm trying to think, was it Christina? No, I spoke to you. I can't remember, but she had the dog and she looked really busy, so I didn't ask her. So I'm going to skip over this a little bit. Last night too, went for an hour and a half. But it's awesome because you've been asking the questions and I love answering them. Hopefully the internet's still working. It was Adele. Adele, did you want to share with us, Adele, where you're at with your VA journey?
Sure. Yes, I have been busy, but I live in a small apartment, so I've been listening intently the whole way through. So I'm a government administrator, and I've done a range of pivots in my career. So I've got this really diverse skill set, and this session for me has been a bit of information gathering. I've been very aware of the virtual assistant world for a number of years, and as a sole breadwinner, it's about, taking that leap of faith. And I think this has given me an understanding that it's not just about becoming a standalone worker, but having a network that supports what's going on. And I think we're moving in a very interesting stage of life as COVID has really changed the way we do things and how we react. And I think there's a lot of potential. And I think there's also a desire for people to get out of the big smoke.
Yeah.
And I think this is the kind of thing that really allows you to work remotely and deliver services. I've also got aging parents, and my dad during this time based in Queensland has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So it's not so much my health, but the health of those around me. And I would really love the capacity to be able to blend my life, and that to me at this point in my life is very important.
Yeah. And that's exactly it, those choices where you go, you know what, I need to duck up to Queensland and I'm going to do that. And I don't need to ask anybody. I'm just going to go. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is actually relocating to Queensland, so getting away, but having a really secure network here, as well as a network that from my time in Queensland that I can then build on that rapport.
Yeah. Beautiful. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do after this is I'm actually going to send you an email with a link to the training that I have. And I'll include a link also to the Virtually Yours Network membership, because for some of you, I think that would be really, really valuable to have access to check out that community. So there's monthly subscriptions, so you can just, if you joined it and you went, it's not for me, you can just cancel it. So there's no massive commitment, but the people in it are amazing. And I think they will help you with some of the problems that you've had here. One of the posts actually that was just yesterday was so gorgeous. One of our members has just been like having the worst year, just with stuff outside of her business. And she basically just shared, you know, a little bit about where she's at mentally and how helpful it's been to connect with other people within the network and things like that, because it is like a big family. And I loved it because it showed that it is a safe place to just go, this is where I'm at. This is how I'm feeling. And you get a lot of support there. And I think when you're doing this, it can be scary. And as you just said, doing it on your own, as you're a sole trader, but you don't have to do it on your own. It's a really big thing. So I'll send that through as an email as soon as I can after this recording's finished. But any final questions before I wrap up? And I've got the information up there so that you can cyber stalk me at any time.
I just want to say thank you for your time. It was great to meet you, and it was really nice to put a face to a name and actually have someone out there that actually supports people like us out in the field, because it's rare and it's now coming more prominent in our world. This is what we need, and I just want to say thanks for giving your time to everybody today.
Oh,
have a nice day.
You. And thank you to
definitely thank you.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, everyone.
Thanks, guys. I'll send through a link to this recording as well. I've absolutely loved meeting or re-meeting each and every one of you. It's been really gorgeous. So please make sure that you stay in touch, and I will reach out to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. See you later.
Stay safe and well. Bye.
Thank you.